This is Andrew working on the Y block on the Fair Lane, and the engine's been freshly rebuilt. And a lot of people are arguing about fully pressurized rockers, but having one that's been rebuilt within the past 1,000 miles, I can tell you right now that it's a good idea because if you look in here, it started having a tapping sound pretty bad after about a week of owning the car with the motor done. And you can tell there's not really a lot of wet oil in here at all. It's like dry, gritty crap. But if you look right here at that rocker, it's actually gray where it got hot. Right in here, and on this one, and a little here. Mainly this one. It's literally dry, powder, burnt oil crap where it wasn't getting oil. And there's not even oil in the valleys down there around the valves, which tells me not a lot was getting on them at all. So what I've done, instead of blocking this off, I tapped on this with it on concrete with a little, what you call it, hammer, little peen hammer, ball peen hammer, and blew through it. Did a little more, blew through it, and got it where it's a good bit of restriction from the old hole, but it'll still flow a little as a relief to keep oil going into the drain, so not too much of it is having to go down here to drain right here, so that some will come out here, some will drain on in without overloading the valve springs and all that. But hopefully it'll build up my oil pressure once I do both sides enough at the top end to where it'll push oil out around my rockers. And it didn't take me long to figure out which ones were rattling. Some of these are kind of close. That one's pretty close to spec, not real bad, not a whole lot of movement. But this one, I mean, you can hear it. You can imagine how it sounds running. That one's real loud. So, let's see, that one's going down. So yeah, this one's in a release position. So I'm going to have to go through all these and readjust them. I mean, this one, you can literally see it moving. That's pretty bad. I mean, it'll pinch my finger. So I know that's not a 15 thousandths gap with feeler gauge. That's more like half of a pencil. So I've got a little work to do, but I'm going to hopefully prevent more of this in the long run by fixing this where it bypass. I mean, the path of least resistance is through here, and it goes through so many different passages before it even gets here that it's not going to force it through these bearings. Well, there aren't even bearings. They're literally sitting on the shafts with their bearings. So it's full friction and then low oil pressure. And it's going to come straight through the tube before it even pushes it out of these clearances. I mean, I used to build engines. Went to school to do this. And this is just retarded. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to fix that on both sides. And hopefully we can get out the full pressure through there to where not only got, now see, these are nice and wet. This side wasn't rattling at all. I mean, it's gritty, but they're good and shiny and wet and full of oil. And there's a little bit of oil down here in the drain because it's elevated above, the oil galley. So that's what I like to see. That's what it should look like right there. Other than I would rather it be cleaner, but I'm going to throw some Marvel Mystery Oil in the oil. Hopefully it'll wash it out and the filter will catch it gradually instead of lodging all at once in passages. But see, you can look in here and it's just there for comparison's sake. Same lighting, phone light. I mean, the shafts are literally, well, there's a dab of it, but they're pretty much dry all the way through, even in the little valley. I mean, it's ridiculous. So that's what we're going to do before it runs a perfectly good rebuilt Y block. Hopefully, we can get it clean in there too. I mean, that just looks terrible. I think that's from machining, you know, it's from probably the machine work washing out of there. So that's imperative to rebuild an engine. Always run it 1,000 miles, maybe 500 miles, and change the oil. I'd run Marvel Mystery Oil through it, half a quart in the oil, run it a little bit, drive it around town, don't get on it too bad, and change it. That way the filter can grab up all of the machine work and scoop it up before it gets in all these little oil passages that cause the top end to fail on these in the first place. Not just a Y block, but any engine. So, anyway, I'm going to get on that. I've already done this one, but I haven't done the driver's side one. So, once I get that hooked up and then put my old air cleaner back on, and we should be good to go. We'll see how she runs.